I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine a sound. It's the sound of a heavy metal gate grinding against stone. For Martha, a 68-year-old grandmother from a quiet suburb in Ohio, that wasn't a sound in her garden. It was the sound inside her knees every time she tried to stand up. When Martha first entered my clinic, she didn't walk in. She was wheeled in by her son, Greg. Her face was etched with a kind of exhaustion that sleep couldn't fix. It was the exhaustion of chronic, unrelenting pain. She had been told by 3 different surgeons that she was bone on bone. Her cartilage, the beautiful pearly white cushion that allows our joints to glide, was, in their words, gone. The recommendation: a double total knee replacement. But Martha had a complicated heart history. The anesthesiologist wouldn't clear her for surgery. She felt like she was caught in a death trap. She told me, "Dr. Thompson, if I can't walk, I lose my house. I lose my garden. I lose my life. Is this the beginning of the end?" She was staring down the barrel of a nursing home. But today, if you were to visit that same suburb in Ohio, you wouldn't find Martha in a wheelchair. You'd find her in her backyard, kneeling, yes, kneeling, to plant her prize-winning hydrangeas. You'd see her walking 2 miles every morning with her golden retriever. What changed? Did she find a secret surgery? No. Did she take an experimental miracle drug? Absolutely not. Martha discovered a truth that 97% of my medical colleagues overlook because it isn't taught in the 2 weeks of nutritional training we get in med school. She discovered that the human body is not a machine with static parts. It is a living, breathing biological ecosystem. And if you provide that ecosystem with the exact molecular blueprints and raw materials it needs, it can do something the world calls a miracle, but science calls regeneration. In the next hour, I am going to walk you through the exact 7-food protocol that Martha used to rebuild her life. This isn't just about feeling better. This is about cellular reconstruction. Before we move forward, I need to know who is in the waiting room with me today. Your age and your symptoms tell me exactly which biological pathways are struggling. Pause right now and go to the comments. Write your age, your primary symptom. Is it a sharp ice pick pain or a dull, heavy ache? And how many years you've been dealing with this? I'm asking this because I want you to see that you aren't alone. Look at the comments around you. You'll see office workers in their 40s with frozen knees from sitting. You'll see new mothers whose joints feel like jelly after pregnancy. You'll see retirees who just want to play golf again. I'm here to tell you, your pain is not a punishment for aging. It is a signal. A signal that you are missing 14 specific micronutrients that act as the catalysts for cartilage repair. Today, we bring those nutrients back. For those of you who don't know me, I have spent over 3 decades on the front lines of medicine. I've performed the surgeries, I've written the prescriptions, and I've seen the side effects. My mission for the second act of my career is to empower you with scientific nutrition. This channel isn't about wellness trends. It's about using food as a precise pharmacological tool. We are going to treat your kitchen like a laboratory and your meals like a prescription for independence. Let's get clinical for a moment. I want you to perform a 5-point self-test. Count how many of these describe your reality. 1. The first steps, agony. When you get out of bed, are those first 10 steps a struggle before your joints warm up? 2. The audible knee. When you squat to pick something up, do your knees sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies, snapping, crackling, and popping? 3. The barometer effect. Can you predict the rain better than the weatherman because your knees start to throb when the pressure drops? 4. The descending fear. Do you find yourself looking for an elevator because the idea of walking down a flight of stairs sends a shudder through your body? 5. The inflammation wall. Do you have to pay for a day of activity with 2 days of rest and ice packs? How many did you count? 1, 3, all 5. Comment your number below. If you have 2 or more, you are likely suffering from ischemia-reperfusion injury and chronic synovial inflammation. In plain English, your joints aren't getting enough blood flow, and they are being bathed in acidic, inflammatory fluids. This environment makes it impossible for cartilage to grow. It's like trying to plant a rose bush in a pool of bleach. We have to change the soil of your body. You've heard of turmeric, but you've likely been using it wrong. This isn't just a spice, it is a potent modulator of your genetic expression. Meet Jim, a 55-year-old software engineer. Jim's knees were so stiff he could no longer sit at his desk for more than 20 minutes. He was taking 800 milligrams of ibuprofen 3 times a day. His stomach was developing ulcers, but he felt he had no choice. We swapped his pills for a biologically active turmeric paste. Within 28 days, Jim reported a 70% reduction in burning pain. He stopped the ibuprofen entirely. The active star is curcumin. But let's look deeper. Inside your joint cells, there is a master switch for inflammation called NF-κB. When this switch is on, your body produces matrix metalloproteinases, MMPs, enzymes that literally chew up cartilage. Curcumin enters the cell nucleus and physically taps that switch to the OFF position. It is like a fire extinguisher for the genetic fires that melt your joints. A landmark study in the Journal of Medicinal Food, 2016, conducted a systematic review of randomized clinical trials. The data was clear. 1,000 milligrams of curcuminoids daily provided the same pain relief as pharmaceutical NSAIDs, but with significantly higher safety profiles for the gut and kidneys. Practical guide. The activation formula. Curcumin is fat-soluble and has low bioavailability. To work, it needs piperine from black pepper, which increases absorption by 2,000%. Recipe: Dr. Thompson's joint paste. Simmer a half-cup turmeric powder with 1 cup water until it forms a thick paste. Add 1.5 teaspoons of ground black pepper and 70 milliliters of cold-pressed coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil. Dosage: 1 teaspoon of this paste, twice a day. Golden time: take 1 dose with breakfast and 1 with dinner. Have you ever noticed your pain gets worse after eating sugar? That's because sugar flips the NF-κB switch back to on. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed a sugar pain connection. While others talk about expensive collagen powders, I want to talk about the whole food matrix. Bone broth is the most bioavailable source of joint building blocks on the planet. Elena, 38, a postpartum mother. After her second child, her knees felt unstable, as if they might give out while she was carrying her baby. This is common. Pregnancy hormones like relaxin soften the ligaments. Elena started a protocol of 2 cups of bone broth daily. In 6 weeks, she felt solid again. Her clicky knees became silent. Cartilage is not just a blob. It is a complex structure called the extracellular matrix, ECM. It's made of type 2 collagen and glycosaminoglycans, GAGs, like hyaluronic acid and chondroitin. Bone broth provides these in a pre-digested form. Think of it as liquid scaffolding. When you drink it, you aren't just eating food. You are delivering the bricks and mortar directly to the construction site of your knee. Research published in Current Medical Research and Opinion, 2008, demonstrated that athletes who consumed collagen hydrolysate, the primary component of bone broth, for 24 weeks showed a significant improvement in joint pain while standing, lifting, and walking. Practical guide. The source: you must use bones with connective tissue still attached, knees, marrow bones, and especially chicken feet. Chicken feet are the gold mine of type 2 collagen. The secret ingredient: always add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. The acidity pulls the calcium, magnesium, and collagen out of the bone and into the water. Golden time: drink 1 cup 30 minutes before bed. Your growth hormones peak during sleep, which is when your body uses these amino acids to rebuild the house. People spend hundreds on fish oil capsules that are often rancid by the time they hit the shelf. I want you to get your oils from the source. Robert, a 70-year-old retired pilot. He told me his knees felt like rusty hinges. He could barely get in and out of his car. We added 3 tins of sardines per week to his diet. Within a month, he told me, "Doctor, I feel like someone finally oiled my joints." These fish are packed with EPA and DHA omega-3 fatty acids. In your joints, these fats are converted into molecules called resolvins. As the name suggests, they resolve inflammation. Furthermore, they increase the viscosity of your synovial fluid. If your cartilage is the bearing, the synovial fluid is the grease. Omega-3s ensure that grease is thick and slippery, preventing friction. A study in the journal Arthritis and Rheumatology found that patients with high omega-3 indexes had significantly more cartilage volume, measured by MRI, than those with low levels. Practical guide. Why small fish? Sardines and mackerel are low on the food chain, meaning they have the lowest levels of mercury and the highest levels of vitamin D, which is also essential for bone health. The dose: 3 to 4 servings per week. Preparation: mash them with lemon juice and parsley. The vitamin C in lemon helps the absorption of the minerals in the fish. Warning: avoid tuna as your primary source. The mercury levels can actually increase systemic inflammation. 4. Broccoli and Brussels sprouts, the epigenetic shield. This is the most high-tech food on our list. It doesn't just provide nutrients, it talks to your DNA. Sarah, 62, had a family history of knee replacements. She was terrified she was next. She began eating steamed broccoli and sprouts every single day. 4 years later, her knees are more mobile than they were in her 50s. She literally turned off her family's bad joint genes. These vegetables contain a precursor called glucoraphanin, which turns into sulforaphane. This molecule is a powerhouse. It triggers a pathway in your body called NRF2. This is your body's internal bodyguard. It goes into the chondrocyte, cartilage cells, and protects them from oxidative stress, the internal rusting that occurs as we age. It literally shields the cartilage from being broken down by enzymes. A 2013 study from the University of East Anglia was groundbreaking. They found that sulforaphane blocked the enzymes that cause joint destruction in lab trials, and they are now moving into human trials because the results were so unusually potent. Practical guide. The chop and wait rule. The enzyme that creates sulforaphane, myrosinase, is activated when the plant is damaged, chewed, or chopped. Chop your broccoli, then let it sit for 40 minutes before cooking. This pre-activates the medicine. Steaming only. Do not microwave or boil. Steam for only 3 to 4 minutes until they are bright green. Interaction. Do you hate the taste of broccoli? That might be a genetic trait. Try roasting them with garlic, food number 7, to change the flavor profile. 5. Red bell peppers, the collagen glue. Most people focus on the bricks, collagen, but they forget the cement that holds them together. Mark, 45, an office worker who took up running. He developed patellar tendinitis and thinning cartilage. He was taking collagen supplements but seeing no results. We realized he was vitamin C deficient. We added 1 raw red bell pepper to his lunch. Within 2 weeks, his recovery time plummeted. You cannot produce a single strand of collagen without vitamin C. It acts as a cofactor for the enzymes prolyl hydroxylase and LYSYL hydroxylase. These enzymes are like staple guns that cross-link collagen fibers into a strong, resilient mat. Without enough vitamin C, your cartilage is weak and brittle, like old, dry rubber. The Framingham osteoarthritis study found that people with high vitamin C intake had a 3-fold lower risk of cartilage loss and disease progression compared to those with low intake. Practical guide. Raw is king. Vitamin C is extremely heat sensitive. You must eat the peppers raw to get the full dose. The color matters. Red peppers have 3x more vitamin C than green peppers and significantly more beta-carotene, another joint protector. Golden time. Eat these at lunch. It provides the glue that your body will use later that night when it processes the bone broth you drink at dinner. 6. Blueberries and blackberries, the rust remover. Think of your joint pain as biological rust. These dark berries are the sandpaper and polish that clean it up. Linda, 66, struggled with post-activity swelling. If she went for a walk, her knees would be puffy for 2 days. We introduced a daily cup of wild blueberries. The puffiness vanished within 10 days. The deep purple color comes from anthocyanins. These are some of the most powerful antioxidants known to man. In the joint, they perform autophagy, a fancy word for self-eating. They help the joint cells identify and eat damaged proteins and cellular debris that cause swelling. They clear the trash so the construction crew, the collagen, can get to work. A clinical trial published in Nutrients, 2019, showed that adults with knee osteoarthritis who consumed freeze-dried blueberry powder for 4 months had significant reductions in pain and stiffness compared to the placebo group. Practical guide. Wild is better. Wild blueberries, often found in the freezer section, are smaller but contain 2x the antioxidant power of the jumbo farmed blueberries. The berry smoothie. Blend them with a bit of ginger, another anti-inflammatory, for a synergistic effect. Question for you. What is your favorite berry? Comment below. I want to see if we have many blackberry fans here. 7. Garlic and onions, the cellular bodyguard. We finish with the aromatics. These aren't just for flavor, they are high-sulfur medicines. David, a 64-year-old construction worker. His hands and knees were knotty with arthritis. He started eating 2 cloves of raw, crushed garlic every night on a piece of sourdough bread. Not only did his joint pain decrease, but his blood pressure dropped by 10 points. Cartilage requires sulfur to maintain its structure. Think of sulfur as the bodyguard that keeps the collagen strands from unraveling. Garlic and onions contain diallyl disulfide. This compound specifically inhibits the matrix-degrading enzymes that eat your cartilage. It's like putting a "Do Not Disturb" sign on your joint cells so they can heal in peace. Researchers at King's College London studied over 1,000 sets of twins. They found that those whose diets were rich in allium vegetables, garlic, onions, leeks, had significantly less evidence of early osteoarthritis in the hip and knee. Practical guide. The crush and rest technique. Just like broccoli, garlic needs to be activated. Crush the clove and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes before eating or cooking. This allows the allicin to form. The sauté. If you can't handle raw garlic, sauté it lightly on low heat. High heat kills the beneficial sulfur compounds. Synergy. Combine garlic with turmeric, food number 1, in your cooking for a 1-2 punch against inflammation. We have covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at the fire extinguishers, the liquid scaffolding, the grease, the shields, the glue, the rust removers, and the bodyguards. If you feel overwhelmed, I want you to remember Martha. She didn't do this perfectly on day one. She started with a cup of bone broth. Then she added the turmeric. Then she swapped her afternoon crackers for red bell peppers. Regeneration is not an event, it is a process. It takes about 3 to 6 months for cartilage cells to significantly turn over. But if you give your body these 7 foods, you are no longer waiting for the inevitable. You are taking the steering wheel of your own biology. The joint killer warning. None of these foods can work if you are still feeding the fire with the big 3. Refined sugar, seed oils, like soybean and corn oil, and chronic stress. These 3 things act like cartilage acid. Try to limit them as you introduce these 7 amazing foods. Your next step. I want you to pick 2 of these foods to buy at the grocery store tomorrow. Comment below which 2 you are choosing. Is it the sardines and the berries? Or the turmeric and the broccoli? Let's make a commitment right here in the comments. If this video gave you hope, please subscribe and share it with someone you love who is struggling with pain. We are building a movement of people who refuse to be pilled and processed. We are choosing the path of natural, scientific healing. I'm Dr. David Thompson. Keep moving, keep nourishing, and I'll see you in the next video.